COVID-19 fear porn mongers are being systematically hunted down and killed. Make no mistake about it. Satan-worshipping Khazarian gangsters are trying to kill you and your family. That is why a campaign to systematically hunt down and kill all the COVID-19 fear-mongering fascist Western leaders has begun, multiple sources say. P3 sources are claiming the trail leads directly to the Rockefeller family and their current patriarch, David Rockefeller. While Japanese military intelligence sources agree, the Rockefeller family did not respond to my queries as of time this report went live. If this sounds like a paranoid conspiratory theory, please note that David Rockefeller Jr., Warren Buffett, Michael Bloomberg, George Soros, Ted Turner, Oprah Winfrey, and others have publicly said they want to reduce the world's population. Given that COVID-19 is an entirely man-made fake natural pandemic psy-off crisis with a pattern, laboratory gain-of-function bioweapon, as a disease, the entire plot is equivalent to crimes against humanity for causing premeditated death, suffering, and economic hardship, in combination with the suppression of preventive medications and natural treatments. Therefore, killing these people is a legitimate act of self-defense and not a crime. MI6 sources promise COVID-19 is very clearly a eugenics program at work and a crime against humanity. The state has clearly gone rogue and turned against the people. When that happens, it becomes a military matter and we move because we have a mandate. U.S. President Donald Trump, for his part, took a major shot at the pharmaceutical companies last week, as can be seen in the following tweet. A favored nation clause against Big Pharma, which I signed last week, means that the USA gets a price of prescription drugs that matches the price of country that pays the lowest price anywhere in the world. 50%, 60%, and maybe 70% reduction. This is just a first shot. MI6 sources promise. The medical industrial complex needs to level the same way we level the financial industrial complex. No if or buts, you just level it. The Pentagon is also on the case, especially vis-a-vis the Raj Khazarian mob state of Israel. For me, as it is for many of us, this is personal. In my case, the latest attack came from a man called Yoichiro Ikeuchi. This summer while I was in Canada, he tried to kill a Japanese woman who has been helping me post Japanese language videos. Ikeuchi had access to private information about her that she never made public. He told her that 2 of my former girlfriends had been killed. In specific, he mentioned Lisa Tohama, who worked with me for 12 years before dying of cancer at the age of 39. Tohama was poisoned by genetic engineered Epstein-Barr virus. The man who bragged to an associate of killing her, Tenzai Nakai, has fled to a remote island in the Okinawa archipelago. According to Japanese underworld sources, we are not aware of any other female associates being killed, but another former girlfriend, who turned out to be a North Korean operative sent to spy on me, has also vanished. She may also have been killed. In any case, my assistant says she suffered an electromagnetic attack of some sort and may only survive by feeling the scene. Ikeuchi failed to respond to multiple attempts to contact him. Needless to say, Japanese police and other official authorities have done nothing about cases like this, even when presented with strong and actionable evidence. Personal grudges aside, strong action is needed because the Western world is facing civilizational collapse, especially in the United States. Of particular interest is the total blackout of satellites over a huge area of South Atlantic. If you look at the map though, it is centered right on Buenos Aires, Argentina. Nazi sources say this is to cover up a major military deployment. Then we have credible Russian reports and videos of UFO flying over Antarctica. Could this anonymity be the cover of some sort of secret Space Force military move against the cabal? We shall see. As always with the space stuff, believe it when you see it and even then examine it. As the fake blue beam psy-op is rumored to be just getting warm up. even if no Space Force comes to rescue. The US military needs to invade California and occupy the big high-tech company's headquarters. Whoever controls the Fed printing press in the US right now is clearly pumping vast amounts of money into them. If you remove Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google from the stock indexes, then the stock market remains stuck at the lows reached after the March price collapse. These companies are key to mass mind control via the internet. The fact that most of the computer-generated central bank money seems to be pouring into them is supporting evidence that the Gnostic Illuminati are right, and we are dealing with a rush AI. Even if there is no rush AI, these companies are behaving in ways that can only be described as criminals. This writer, along with many other reporters of the truth, has long been attacked, deplatformed, robbed of revenue, and etc. by these companies. Here's a small example of abuse of power by Apple, considered to be one of the less evil of the tech giants. For some reason, every time I try to download photographs from my iPhone to my computer, only about half end up making it. Then, a while later, I get an email from Apple offering me a chance to put my photos in their cloud storage system. It's a pretty good bet Apple is deliberately preventing people from putting their own photos on their own computers in order to push their online storage business. The sort of abuse is one of the many reasons why the California tech giants need to be seriously investigated and forced to face criminal charges. Tiny, teeny fines do nothing to deter trillion-dollar companies. Putting high-tech CEOs in jail for long periods would. Even high-tech companies like Tesla would actually make things are clearly getting more money than a functioning capital market would allocate them. Last week, Tesla PE price to earnings ratio passed 1,000 to 1. That means it would take 1,000 years for Tesla to pay off any investment in the stock right now. Aside from California, another cabal stronghold appears to be the South Korea. Korean gangsters who have been subcontracting control of Japan and South Korea for the cabal are starting to panic as they see the wheels of justice grinding towards them. A sign of this is that South Korean slave regime is upping COVID-19 restrictions to draconian levels in a bid to keep the populace under control. They are desperate in part because North Korea is getting ready to announce South Korean government officials were responsible for murdering Kim Jong-un. You can be sure the guilty parties will not be long for this earth. In Japan, meanwhile, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe appears to have survived another cabal poisoning attempt. Abe has recently gone off the Kabul reservation and has been undermining their attempts to use COVID-19 to destroy the Japanese economy, Japanese military intelligence sources say. They promise a major campaign to round up Kabul agents in Japan soon. Presumably, this would mean occupying the Khazarian slave media in Japan, as well as taking control of the Bank of Japan. We also have reports of explosions at Bill Gates' compound in Karuizawa, Japan. The construction of a massive facility is rumored to be close to completion, so some form of raid may have taken place. We will try to investigate further and update when possible. Now let us look at what the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency has to say about the takedown of the Khazarian Raj state of Israel. Here's their report. After the Iraqi Prime Minister met with Trump, U.S. troops began to draw down. Backers can't be choosers, so Trump forced Bibi not to block F-35 jet sales to UAE, and then to Saudi, Egypt, and others. With threats of public disclosure of 11 September, Beirut, Fukushima, Bali 2002, nukes used in Yemen and Syria, in the 2005 Hariri assassination, Israel is on the back foot as Saudi Arabia proclaims no normalization without peace deal with Palestine per 2002 Arab Peace Initiative and UN resolutions. Zionism is dead as the UN Special Tribunal for Lebanon failed to convict Hezbollah leaders or Syria for the death of Rafik Hariri, since everybody knows that Israel nuked him in 2005. The Arab world may unite under cover of normalizations to compel Israel to return all stolen lands, evacuate all illegal Jewish settlements, leave the siege of Gaza, return to 1967 borders, or accept a binational one-state solution with equal rights for all. Israel no longer has a qualitative military age, as it lost F-35 during Syria in 2008, and Iran is getting advanced Russian weapons like S-40, Su-57 in jammers that can disable any platform on the ground, air, and sea. Finally, this week, we can report multiple sources are talking about some sort of imminent financial reset. Pentagon sources say the Zionist-controlled SWIFT international bank transfer system has been taken down as Quantum financial system goes online. Two different Dragon family sources also say massive funds are being breeded for a campaign to fix the planet. We are reluctant to give specific dates, but many sources say something might happen as early as September. Given all the false alarm we have seen, believe when you see it.